Hello everybody, this is Jenny Burrows here. Today I am going to teach you Scratch. Now Scratch is the world's largest free coding community for kids. So kids will have the opportunity to learn how to code quickly and easily. With Scratch, you can program your own interactive stories, games, animations, and share your creations with others in the online community if you want to. And therefore, Scratch helps young people learn to think creatively. Also, they can work collaboratively. And this is essential skills for the 21st century. And parents, Scratch is great for you as well. You'll be able to understand what the child is doing. It's a programming language where it's going to be very interactive for you and them. So let's begin to learn how to utilize Scratch. So Scratch is a visual programming language. A little background by it, it was developed by MIT back in 2007, and it has a drag and drop interface where kids will easily use blocks as codes. They'll be able to build basic level games. They'll also be able to create stories. A lot of great things that these kids will be able to create with Scratch. Now, the great news about Scratch is you don't need to have an account, not unless you want to. So you'll be able to start creating right away with Scratch. So let's begin. So when we get to the front page, you'll see a Start Creating. So I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, a project will load right up. And so when you get in, you'll see all sorts of different items here. One being our sprite, which is this cat on our far right. That's what the kids are calling him, is a sprite. And down below, you'll see a tutorial. I'm going to close that for now, so then you're able to see this wide canvas. And this is where you're going to be able to drag and drop your codes in order for the sprite, the cat, to move. And again, at the left-hand side, you'll see all sorts of different motions. So as far as motion, you'll see looks, sound, events, control. So we're not going to go through all of these today just because there is a lot to learn. Today we are going to go through the basic level of Scratch. Enough where we're able to get our sprite moving and being able to interact. So let's begin. So the first thing we should do right from the beginning, if you want to, is to change our sprite. So let's say we don't want to use the cat. Instead, we want to use another animal or thing. So if I click at the bottom, it says choose a sprite. I'm going to click on that, and you can see there are all sorts of great sprites out there. Today, I am going to choose the bear. So I'm going to just click on the bear. And again, you can see he's there, but he kind of he's kind of mixed in between my cat right there. So what I can do to remove my cat is to click on him, and then there's a little garbage can there. I can just click off. And again, you will see my bear. So I'm going to kind of move my bear around so I can take my mouse and I can drag over my bear. So I can move him just about anywhere I want to. So I'm going to just put him right there. I think that's a great spot for him. Next, I am going to create a background. I think that's important too, to just kind of get a visualization of what you want to do. So on the bottom here, it says choose a backdrop. I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, there are a lot of different backdrops here. And since I picked a bear, I think I'm going to go with outdoors at the top. So I'm going to kind of scroll here and see what would be a great backdrop for my bear. I think the forest would be fantastic. So I'm going to click on that. And again, you can see my forest and my bear. They look pretty happy to me. So the next step I want to show you is all this coding along the side on the right hand side with these blocks. Now that we have our sprite and our background, the next thing I want to do is add controls, and we're going to do that with the code. So one thing that pops out that I see that would be an easy control is this move 10 steps. So what I need to do is I need to drop that right into my canvas right there. So you're going to see is once I do that, I can click on the sprite, and you can see he moves 10 steps. Now, another thing I can do is I can change this number. If I say, well, maybe I don't want him to move 10 steps. Maybe I want him to move 25 instead. So I'm going to highlight the 10 and type in 25. And then you see he moves a little bit further. Now, I could hover over my sprite backwards here. And again, you can see what he does as I click on the move 25 steps. So I'm going to move him back from now. And another thing I can do too is not only motion, but also I can create sound. So I'm going to click on the sound, and I know there's not a lot of sounds at the moment, but it's one that's by default is a pop. I'm going to put that underneath. And then let's see if I could change that. I could record it, but we'll just leave it as a popping noise. So you can see, I click on it, and he's moving and making a popping noise. Let me bring him right back here, right from the beginning. So the next thing we could do is we could click on sound, and this is that popping sound that we are using right now. And you can control that sound within this bar here. If you want to, you could make it sound a little bit louder, or you could have it sound a little bit closer. You could have it fade in, fade out. So a lot of great things you could do with the sound. Let's make this a little louder. All right, I think that sounds great. Also in the middle here, it says costume. You could change the way your bear looks by changing his color. You can change his outline. There's a lot of different things you could do with this bear. I like that he's brown, but let's see, maybe we can change a little bit to him. Maybe we can change his face. And why don't we fill in his face with, well, we could make it black. And you could see that his face is black. How about if we make it red? And as you can see, you could make all sorts of interesting things with your sprite if you really want to. Why don't I hit the undo and have him go back to brown again? So there is an undo, so if you do make a mistake, you can always undo that. So the next thing I want to show you are looks. So we learned a little bit about motion, and we learned about sound. The next step I want to show you is looks. So if I drag this look down here, and again, if I click on it, you can see my little sprite says hello for 2 seconds. Now let's say if I want him to say hello a little bit longer, let's just say 10 seconds. You can see that he's doing that. So the next thing I want to show you is you could add more than one sprite. And that is pretty easy to do. So all you have to do is click on the bottom, choose a sprite, and let's see, maybe our bear would like to have a friend. How about a frog? So we'll click on the frog, and you can see he appears. And why don't we drag our frog right here, right next to our bear? And you know what? We're going to do all sorts of great things with our frog. So let me go back up to motion. And why don't we have our frog move? We'll have him move let's say 25 steps. And why don't we have him turn as well? We'll have our frog turn. We'll say 25 degrees. And then we'll have our frog make some sort of a sound. So let's see. Well, there's that popping sound. Let's see here. Oh, and we can kind of see what he's doing. And then we can have him say something. Maybe we can have him say hello to the bear. So now we have our bear sprite and we have our frog sprite. So again, as you can remember, what our frog is or what our bear is doing. And next we can see what our frog is doing.